Fundamentally, it's really important that we keep some level of there continues to be feedback around is the way that machine learning and AI is rolling out in products really meeting the needs and the interests of users and creators and society more generally, right? I worry a lot about if you as you automate processes, you allow companies to use AI to increasingly create problems, and then they have big companies have very little incentive to investigate and question the negative repercussions of their actions, right? And maybe an unintended consequence of whistleblowers like Frances Haugen with Meta
Yep.
is that big companies like them will be less inclined to even do research and analyze
Yeah.
what's going wrong. But the problem is these systems are incredibly secretive. Like it's basically, I spent time in the Global Partnership on AI, working with their social media working group, and in that group, the big challenge is like, there's no good way for outsiders to independently study and assess the impact of what's going on. It's not so much that everything is a problem, right? You can always spin up a story of this is an issue, that is an issue, but to have any level of confidence, you need to have a way of studying and saying, is this something that's warranted? Is this a problem? How big a problem is it, right? If you're creating an externality, just like, we have to be able to study if pollution is creating problems and be able to decide what the policy response is. So, I think a level of transparency, a level of ability for vetted researchers to be able to look at what's going wrong could go a long way, and really calibrating what are the challenges. But I still prefer that we try to drive innovation and get out of a world where we're regulating a few powerful monopolists that control so much of society.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time seeing the latter as like a positive direction for the long term.
And it's so funny, right? I remember when Facebook and Twitter both started, they had very open networks. When they first launched, they had all their APIs public. You could query anything, you could build on top of their community. That's how they helped grow their ecosystem, was leveraging the community who could build on top of it. And now it's exactly the opposite. They've gone shut down, super secretive, into and very contrary to the open source community, which is really write my code, open source it, publish it. And even some of the bigger companies that are trying to foster bigger change at a grander scale are even open sourcing proprietary technologies, whereas others are shut down. Why is that? Is that because of regulatory requirements? Is that because of abuse that has happened? Is that because of, yeah, do you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're completely right about the direction. You went from building these platforms that were encouraging developers. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the analysis, Chris Dixon's argument of companies go from attractive to extractive, right?
Yeah.
That early on they're trying to build their platform, they market to developers, they make it enticing. At some point, the dial switches, and they're like, how do we extract as much value from the community we've captured as possible, right? I mean, you go from Facebook promoting the use of their APIs to putting their partners out of business, suing, Power Ventures who built an alternative UI on top of social media, right? Basically, there's this tendency, right, to switch that, and of course, you'll always have an argument, right? And they're not wrong arguments. Like there's privacy concerns, and there's a level of quality, and if you allow enough openness, it allows the Cambridge Analyticas of the world to get access to data and exploit users, and there are legitimate things to think about. It's not like there's unfettered access to all the data, and allowing anyone to interoperate doesn't have problems. It has real challenges, right? But yeah, I think getting to an ethos where you build where there's more ability to trust the long-term direction of the ecosystem, that's a huge attraction again of an open source space where you have more confidence in the long-term behavior, whereas you unfortunately could have a lot of confidence in long-term behavior of massive corporation that they will become extractive, and they're going to start to optimize for two things. One is profit, and two is minimizing risk, right?